Okay. Okay. Yes, it's not streaming. Say, I'm a focus. Ladies and gentlemen, you're all welcome to your favorite show, The Analyst. Thank you very much for joining. If you're just joining, please share. Today is a very special show. We have special invitees. We have a very special guests today. We all know most of them, but before I call them, I want you to share. Uh, we are being watched all over Africa, from Ghana to Gabon, South Africa, Kenya, Liberia, and across Africa. So uh, you're all welcome. Please, if you are just joining, share. I want to use this opportunity to thank all our donors, all our pledges, and we say we shall keep you in our mind as we move forward towards Boya. You're all welcome watching your favorite TV station, the ABC TV. Thank you for joining. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking a lot of stuff today. So I'm going to use this advantage to introduce our guests. We have Comrade Larry Dancy. You all know him. He's a very powerful political analyst. We also have Barrister John Fruso, our legal analyst. They are all right here in the studio, ABC studio. So please join, hit your share button before we start. Let every Ambazonian know we are live and alive for this special show. Ladies and gentlemen, I come today to inform you that today is a special show, and let's hit your share button and let's join the show. Ladies and gentlemen, before I call in, please, we're supposed to have Dr. Elad, but due to some technical reasons, Dr. Elad is still to join us. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have Comrade Larry. Comrade Larry, can you introduce yourself to the audience? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, our able host, and we thank God, Almighty God for this new day. And I'm humbled to be here, particularly with our legal advisor, our legal team leader, Barrister John Sopa. Since I met you in Washington D.C., it has been some time, so I'm happy to be with you here today.
Thank you very much, Larry.
Yeah, go ahead,
Okay,
Barrister.
thank you. Yes, thank you, Larry. I'm happy to be on the same platform with you. Thank you, Mr. Moseri, for inviting us. My name is Barrister Fru John Nso. Of course, I think the public knows me already. I am a barrister at law with residence in Douala, but I now live in the United States on exile for reasons that you all know. But everything being equal, I thank Mr. Fricks Missouri for inviting us to this show. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barrister. I am so pleased to see you guys here, and because we have a lot of stuff to talk today. I invited you people because I know you guys are the legal minds in Ambazonia, and there are a lot of stuff that we're gonna be talking about. Today, I want us to sensitize Ambazonians about their own rights, because a lot of Ambazonians don't know why we're fighting. They don't know their rights. They don't know what to do when it comes to a lot of stuff, in this revolution. So I am very pleased to have you, Barrister, and to have Comrade Larry, who knows much about this struggle and has been fighting for long. So I'm very grateful to have them here today with me, here in the studio of ABC Amber TV. So we will be talking about the chiefs. We'll be talking about the illegal enthronement of chiefs, and we'll be talking also about the Swiss negotiation, some updates. We shall also be talking about the various genocide and massacre committed by La République in our own land, and we'll be talking about some possible lawsuits and sanctions that the United Nations is supposed to levy on La Republique as they continue to massacre and kill our people. So to start, Barrister, I want to ask you about these chiefs. We hear, in Mendankwe, we heard about the enthronement of certain chiefs there by the La Republique government. I want you to throw a little more light on this issue, the legal balance in this issue about chiefs not being, how are they supposed to be enthroned? Because we know traditional chiefs have their own traditional way of enthronement of the maybe first class or third class or second class chiefs. Barrister.
Yes, La Republic fails to understand that we have restored our independence, and therefore we are not about to be subjected to their laws. Secondly, even if we have to be subjected to their laws, the tradition of the people of the northern zone and the southern zone demands that when a chief is missing, I hope you know what I mean by missing. If a chief is dead, we call it in our tradition missing. The next chief must come from the lineage of the former one. That is to say, it's hereditary. It's not appointment. Under the local government laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, law of 1955, which is no longer applicable. They follow the tradition and approve the chief that the people want based on their traditions. Since we installed our independence, I don't want to start quoting to you the laws that are applicable in La Republique of Cameroon because we are not interested in that. But the good news is that Mendankwe has installed the correct chief. It's a hereditary, the son of the late chief. So La Republique was trying to install a Bamileke man who is a bailiff in Bamenda, called Chinda, Metin Chinda, but that didn't work because they saw the handwriting on the wall. The population was not about to give in. So the new chief is the son of the late chief. So everything is in order. So that is all I'm going to say. I'm not going to talk about the laws of La
Yeah.
Republique of Cameroon because they are no longer applicable to us. Now that we have not instituted our legal systems so that we can have our laws, we go by the tradition of our people, and that is why the Mendankwe people follow that tradition, and they have a new chief now.
Yeah. Thank you, Barrister. I'll ask Larry because people want to know the rights of the chiefs. We have our traditional customary courts, and these rights have been taken away. Chiefs don't even have any rights to judge cases anymore. People have their cases, they take them to these colonial DOs and SDOs. So I want Larry to tell us a little bit of this right of the chiefs and why chiefs must have their rights to have some sort of autonomy in their own region to judge cases. We used to have these customary courts. Larry.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I happen to be at my teenage age. I grew up with my grandmother in the village of my grandmother. Unfortunately, what is happening today with our palaces, with our chiefs, with our funds is completely different from what I saw when I was still a kid. I happened to grow up in a village in Batibo in Mogamo called Anong. The fun that I saw when I was just about 5 years old is different from what we have now. What we have now totally are politicians, not funds, not chiefs. I remember when I was a kid, if you have to see the phone of Anon, you will only see him once in a while when he's leaving the palace, going out of the village, or when he's coming back. You just have to go by the roadside and stop and watch him pass by in the vehicle that is transporting him. Today, our phones, our chiefs are in the market squares doing political campaigns. It's a shame. But what I will say here is that since the chiefs have brought the disrespect upon themselves by themselves, we are going to help them disrespect them. Since they have used politics to invite disrespect to themselves by themselves, we Ambazonians are going to help them disrespect them. A phone used to be somebody that when you are approaching the palace, not even the phone himself, when you are approaching the palace, you have to take precautions. You have to watch your steps. You have to watch your words. A palace is not a place that you could just walk in. Not to talk of the fact that there were some areas of the palace that you don't even go closer. Our palaces today, strangers just walk in and walk right to the room of the phone. Man, they have lost that dignity. I don't think it's something that we should be talking anymore. They have lost it completely. If I compare it with what I saw, there were some areas in the palace that you don't even go closer. I mean, villagers don't even go closer. Not to talk of today, we talk of a Bamblikin man attempted to be a phone. Jesus Christ. What is La Republique taking us for? What is really La Republique taking us for? Do these enablers in Yaoundé really sit there and watch these things happen to our community, to our village, to our tradition, and to our culture? This war must go to the end. And if the chiefs and the phones have chosen disrespect, and if they have invited disrespect, we are going to help them achieve their mission of losing their throne. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Barrister, I want you to tell us a little bit about this, because most of these chiefs have become more than politicians, than custodian of their own culture. You know, they spend time in Yaoundé, and they don't really sit in their palaces. They are always in Yaoundé. Then we hear that they want to send them back to come and campaign. I don't understand what they are trying to achieve, Barrister.
Look, I would advise any chief who abandoned his palace and found himself in Yaoundé to better stay in Yaoundé, because the chiefs that matter did not abandon their people. I will give you just one example. The son of Bafut has not abandoned his people. So any chief who abandoned his people and was living in Yaoundé, we have given instructions to our restoration forces to make sure that they don't come back. They have chosen their side of this fight. Let them stay in Yaoundé, because if they come back, we will not be responsible for whatever happens to them. Having said that, the chiefs who have decided to do politics, take my phone for example. He was the first vice president of the CPDM, Fonangwafo III. I'm from Mancon. He made a statement on that he will not accept Mancon to be divided. Why should he accept Cameroon to be divided? The restoration forces gave him 10 days to leave, to abandon his throne and go away, to go and meet his people in Yaoundé. He negotiated himself out of that and he stayed put. Since then, he has learned to close his mouth. He is a man of more than 95 years, 96 years old, and so he has been quiet all along. Any chief who decides to do politics, we will put him in the market square, like Larry has said, and deal with him squarely. For now, we don't have any laws, customary laws now that are applicable in our territory because we're at war. But we still give our chiefs, according to tradition, because in those days when there were no laws, if you have a problem, you have to take your opponent to the chiefs or the fund, and the fund will separate the two of you by inviting some elders, and you are tried, and both of you, they listen to both of you, and they pass judgment. That is what we want to take place right now, until the time that this war will be finished. We will negotiate this matter in Geneva, and then I will regain our country, our sovereignty, and the laws and the customary laws will be put back in place, and the customary courts will be reinstated. The various courts, from magistrate court through the high court to the court of appeal and Supreme Court, will be reinstated, and the laws will be applicable. Laws will pass by parliament, the new parliament, that is the Southern Cameroon Ambazonian parliament, that will be born, and then we will go on from there. For now, we are relying on our tradition. Anytime that any Ambazonian has a problem, it should go to the chief or to the fund, and the problem will be sorted out traditionally. Okay. Short of heinous crimes, because if it involves heinous crimes, during war, the laws of the Geneva Convention will be applicable.
Okay, so
yeah,
so I want to find out about the. Yes, Larry, go on, Larry. Yeah, go on, Larry.
Yeah, I was going to add something to what Barrister Johnson just said. I think we have to give special credit to the fund of Bafut from his steadfastness, his determination to stay with his people, even at gunpoint, really meets the saying that a lion does not give birth to a deer. A lion can only give birth to a lion. We remember that in 1961, it was this same fund of Bafut fund Achirimbi who made this statement. I quote, "Going to La République du Cameroon is fire, and going to Nigeria is water.
It's water.
If we go to Nigeria, we are going to drown. If we go to La République, we are going to burn in the fire. Today, we are burning. Thank God, the successor of that fund is standing by the word of the Father. We need to give him special credits."
Yep.
Wow. Barrister, I wanted to find out about the role of the chiefs when it comes to the House of Chiefs. Is it really relevant at this time of war that we want to set up that kind of local leadership?
Look, Mr. Misodi, don't even talk about any kind of thing, because La République, we have banned all elections in Ambazonia. So there will be nothing. There will be nothing like House of Chiefs, House of that, and so on, until this war is finished, and we will. Is the Southern Cameroon Ambazonian government that will decide whether we reinstitute the House of Chiefs. For now, I don't see the relevance. For now, I don't see where La République is trying to play a game so that they can report to the international community that things have gone back to normal. It's not going to work. We are waiting for them in Geneva. If they care, they come and know that they will come. They have no choice. They actually have no choice. They will meet us in Geneva and we'll finish this matter, and we don't have to succumb to any of their laws. We don't have to succumb to any of their elections. Those elections have been banned. If you heard the authorities of the interim government, if you heard Secretary Chris on this network, those elections that are coming up, or any other election to start with during this war, are hereby banned. So anybody who attempts to campaign or do anything involving elections in Ambazonia is doing so at his or her own risk. We will not be responsible for what happens to that person, because we are at war, and we are at war. We don't want anything else but this war. After this war is finished, we will have our nation, and we can now put the laws together and move forward.
Yes, Barrister, thank you. Mr. Larry, I want to find out your take about this issue of these prisoners, the prisoners of war, that they are being mistreated. You saw when they took one of them, and while in the hospital he was in chain. I want you to tell us a little bit about this. Is this the normal norm of treatment of prisoners? Because we know prisoners of war, they have a very important role to play in the negotiation process. So is it a normal norm for the mistreatment of prisoners? We hear that they are killing prisoners all over Ambazonia. Some prisoners in SCD, we hear that they are being mistreated. Comrade Larry.
Yeah, Mr. Fritz, La Republique still believe in intimidation. They still believe and they consider intimidation as one of their strategy. It's like push this leader to the wall to the point where they can surrender, because they still see some of them standing firm. Somebody like Partasang, Dikintasang, somebody like Dr. Fo, and some others are still standing firm. So they want to push them to a point where they are going to say, oh, they cannot take it anymore. Let peace reign. And start talking like the language of Dr. I think they call him Dr. Santos. So what he wants is peace. Whether it's two Cameroon, one Cameroon, that is where La Republique wants to take them to. Notwithstanding, this is not the first detention of political prisoners by La Republique. Each time members of the SCNC were arrested, they were always detained with hardened criminals in Bamenda Central Prison or Boya or whatsoever. I was detained in 2006 with somebody who was caught in Douala with 6 human fresh heads, detained in the same room with a murderer, somebody who is fighting for his right, for self-determination, detained with a murderer, somebody caught with 6 human fresh heads, and you put me in the same room. Do you know what they want? They want those prisoners to torture us, not them torturing us, so that when we go out, we will never think of doing something that will return to that prison. But didn't know that they were dealing with fire, people who are determined. La Republique is still at the stage of thinking that they can use intimidation. But Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians have passed that stage of the fear of intimidation. There is something La Republique does not understand. Permit me say this here. I was asked one day by Pastor Stephen D. I will not say he's late because heroes don't die. Pastor Stephen D. He asked me one day, Mr. Dancy, what is the cause of fear? The cause of fear is the lack of knowledge. Ambazonians are well informed about the truth of the matter. Ambazonians are well informed about our right to self-determination. So La République feel that we are ignorant about these things. We know these things. We know that what we are fighting is right. We know the laws, the international charter that guide us. So La République does not know that all these things that we know are the cause of the courage that we have. That is why I would tell every Ambazonians, every LGA leaders, county leadership, all leaders of the IG, everybody must know the truth of the matter. Because when you know the truth of the matter, that is what is going to give you courage. Let me tell you, Mr. Freeze, when I joined this struggle in 2001, I happened to have been taken into the struggle by Comrade Sama Thomas. Sama Thomas was, back home, he was a very huge guy. You cannot hold his hand. He was afraid by the military. Every military man was afraid of Sama Thomas. This guy was very courageous at the time. Because before I joined him, he was already in the struggle. He knew the in and out. He knew the truth of the matter. Guess what? Each time we are on the street, someone will be moving around and singing freedom song, even in the midst of the military. Because he knew that each time he's attacked, he's going to tell them what they don't know. So we have to be informed. When you are informed, you will not be afraid. La République is still thinking that we are not informed. We are well informed. We know what we know that Southern Cameroons was not, is not, and Ambazonia Southern Cameroon shall never be an integral part of La République du Cameroon. If by now they have not succeeded in assimilating us, the eyes are now open, the ears are now open, the will is there, the determination is there. So Southern Cameroon will never again, if by now we have not been fully assimilated, Southern Cameroon will never again be an integral part of La République du Cameroon. They can stand by their intimidation. We are not going to heal with their intimidation. Sometimes they go to, like, I call them stupid women who thought they could go to the American embassy to demonstrate, thinking that they were going to call the American embassy attention to come towards us, particularly us that were living here in this country. Let any American come to me and tell me if the United States did not vote for the independence of Southern Cameroon, and what was the meaning of their vote.
Yeah.
Let any American come to my door, knock my door and tell me, Mr. Ndansi, America did not vote for the independence of Southern Cameroon. And if they voted for the independence of Southern Cameroon, what was the meaning of the vote? So we will not be intimidated. They rally people to hold demonstration at any embassy. We have the legal part of this struggle in our hands, and we know it. Southern Cameroonians are well informed. We have well-to-do legal minds, like our barrister here. We have people who are well informed. Even the activists are well informed. There is nobody who is still naive. Abeg, unate atanganji.
Larry, thank you. Let me call Barrister yet, because I wanted to ask some stuff concerning the rights of the prisoners, because there are so many of us, of our brothers and sisters, locked across, in these their dungeons in, La République, in even Ambazonia, that they don't even know their rights. I want Barrister to tell most of these who are prisoners of war, our POWs, that they have rights, and he should tell them what right they should be talking with any prison guard or any person while in jail, because most of them, we have more than 3,000 of our people in jail, and they don't know that they have rights. Barrister.
Mr. Fricks, before I answer, am I allowed to correct you? You said that the prisoners have a role to play in the negotiating process. I differ with you because the the prisoners that I had opportunity to be lead counsel, and the other prisoners that are in Kondenge prison have been compromised, except a few, and Dekin Tasang is one of those few. But let me tell you, before any of our prisoner is going to be part of the negotiating process, he must have his liberty. You don't negotiate with prisoners, you negotiate with free people. La République has done everything. La République has done everything to put pressure, like Larry was saying, on our prisoners and corrupted them. And they are now, some of them are now talking a different language. That notwithstanding, until prisoners are released, they cannot form part of the negotiating process. The negotiation process that was going to take place is going to take place between La République du Cameroon and Southern Cameroon and Bazonia, and everybody sitting on that table must be a free man. You cannot be negotiating with chains in your. You cannot be negotiating with chains in your hands and chains in your feet. So no negotiation with. Yes.
Yes, Barrister. Wait, not to cut you short. I was talking in sense of using prisoners, because when you go for the negotiation, there will be that kind of bargain, and
yes, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. Let me answer your question about the rights of prisoners.
All right.
When you are sentenced, you lose your liberty, but you don't lose certain rights. The right to life is intact. Your right to life is intact. Your right to be fed is intact. Your right to be visited while in prison by your lawyer or your wife or your husband is intact. And the right to be treated as a human being when you get sick, it's a fundamental right. You see, you cannot take a prisoner to the hospital who is very sick, and you take him only when he at the point of death. You should have afforded to let him be taken for treatment as soon as he showed signs of being ill. You allow him until he is at the point of death. You take him to the hospital and chain him to the hospital bed, and he dies with a chain in his hand. What a barbaric regime. So, prisoners, every prisoner should know that he has a right for medical treatment each time that he's sick. He has a right to life. That is, a life cannot be taken. We just saw a video where they were burying. They are burying them in mass graves in somewhere in Yaoundé, behind a petrol station. We have those videos, and these are all our boys. They do everything to make sure that they torture you. You are sick. They don't attend to you until when you are about to die, or sometimes you die in prison. They just take the corpse, go and bury in a mass grave. Listen, La République has not respected one iota of the Geneva Convention as it concerns prisoners of war. You take prisoners of war and you put them with common criminals. All our 3,000 boys that were arrested by La République du Cameroon were not supposed to be detained in the regular prisons, because you are detaining them along with hard criminals. Yes. They are treated. They have a special law that was passed by the Geneva Convention that covers the rights of the POWs. La République has refused to respect that, and all our people are now in common prisons. They die from neglect. Their life means nothing. They don't have a right to life, and you saw it with our Thomas who died in Yaoundé, and Emmanuel who died in Boya. and the other young man who died in Boya. There are 3 now that died under those circumstances that I know of. We don't know how many have been dying without receiving treatment. So every prisoner should know his basic right, especially POWs. They are not even supposed to be in the prison with the common criminals.
Yes.
They are covered by the Geneva Convention, and they must receive highly human treatment. Their human rights are supposed to be respected right through when they are in detention, because they were captured from the war front, and even our leaders who were illegally adopted in contravention of an international law that protects refugees and asylum seekers, which was passed in 1951. Nigeria and Cameroon decided to violate that law, and Nigeria handed over our people to Cameroon, and Cameroon has them now in prison and sentenced them to life. That is, all those we consider them prisoners of war. So they were not supposed to be served. They were not supposed to be serving in the ordinary prisons.
Yeah, thank you, Barrister. I want to follow up with Comrade Larry. You know, is it legal for a country to go to another country and arrest people who are seeking refuge and asylum seekers? You know, like they went to Nigeria and arrested most of the leaders there and took to La Republic. Larry Dancy.
Yeah, that question was going to be answered by Barrister Fruit, but let me say something here.
Larry, before you talk, I had just made a statement. They were captured in violation of an international law of 1951 on refugees and asylum seekers. When you are a refugee and asylum seeker and you are running away from a particular country and you enter another country, that country has a right to protect you. And even if you violate the laws of that country, they want to deport you. They cannot deport you from where you were running from. Yes. That's what they call the principle of non-refoulement. You cannot be taken back to the place where you are running from, and that's exactly what happened to the Naira 10. So, Larry, you can continue.
Yes, Mr. Prince, as you just asked, there is nothing here when it comes to what happened to our leaders in Nigeria that the law is even supposed to be quoted, because everything about it is illegality. And it is just because of the conspiracy that is going on in the world today. La Republique is working with France and Nigeria. They already have diplomatic relations. We are just the stranger among their diplomatic activities. Notwithstanding, we already know that they have violated. La Republique does not respect any laws. One thing that I listened to one comedian in Nigeria, he said was like, the Western world had their own difficulties, like harsh climate, like winter and so on. Our own problem that we have in Africa is leadership. What is happening in Africa is that people are leaders, unqualified people are leaders, and they do things which they don't even know that this thing that they are doing is wrong. Take, for instance, if you make somebody like Buhari a minister, a president, that was just a military man that rise to the level of a general. Maybe he does not even know the constitution. He does not even know rights. He cannot even quote charters. And then you go to the side of La Republique. You make a criminal like Atanganji Paul, the Minister of Territorial Administration. That is telling you the class of the level of the country we are talking about. If somebody like Atanganji Paul, a hardened criminal for that instance, is made Minister of Territorial Administration, is La Republique du Cameroon qualified to be called a country? If we call La Republique du Cameroon a country, then we are tarnishing the image of countries like the United States. If we call La Republique du Cameroon a country, with parliamentarians who don't even know the difference between parliament and parliamentarian. A parliamentarian is calling himself parliament. He is the parliament, and the parliament is the parliamentarian. Then we should know the level of what we are calling La République. That is not a country. It is not qualified to be called a country. Those who are talking in parliament are not even qualified. They are just sleeping. And it's taking decision for them to clap. And you take a criminal who does not even know his left and right and make minister of territorial administration. You can imagine the type of decision. Having such leaders in Nigeria, and we are having such leaders in La République. And you can imagine how two illiterate meet to take such a decision. The consequences will be drastic. And that is exactly what happened to our leaders. Because they don't even know about the consequences. They don't even know about the image of their country before the world. They don't even know that you are telling international investors that you can go to Nigeria and something happen to you and nobody will do anything. The government will not come there for your protection. Such leaders don't know the image they are taking their country before the world. They don't know that by that action you scare investors. By that action you scare away visitors. And when you scare away visitors, what do? You affect the Ministry of Tourism. There are visitors that book hotels in Nigeria. But when you tell visitors that your life is not safe here, you can be kidnapped and transported to any group of terrorists like La République at any time, and nothing will happen. Those are the type of leaders that we have in Africa. Leaders who don't look at the consequences of their action. Unfortunately, that is where we are. But we think that this generation today is going to bring some change. And we pray that let every youth stand up and let's fight for the change. Thank you so much.
Thank you, comrade.
Add something.
Thank you.
Let me add something. Are you there?
Yes, I was about to ask you a question in relation to what.
You ask me later. Let me add something. You know, I led when I was lead counsel for Ayuk Tabe and 9 others. I led a few of my colleagues who went to Nigeria and joined 2 prominent Nigerian lawyers, and we went to the Abuja High Court and we won. You cannot win a case in Cameroon, but you can win a case in Nigeria. Because Nigeria is a common law system. The laws are very well respected. And even if they have an illiterate as a head of state, they respect their laws. We won that case against the federal government of Nigeria. And Nigeria was asked to pay our people, our people that were kidnapped and sent to Cameroon, 500,000 naira each, and the other people who were captured from Tabara State, 200,000 naira each. Now, when we went to Nigeria, we also collected from the UNHCR. The UNHCR is an agency that is in charge of refugees and asylum seekers around the world. The Nigerian branch, we collected from them documentation to show that the Naira 10 were already, some of them were already asylees, and some of them were still seeking for asylum. They were refugees, and we brought that as evidence and tendered in court. You know that I led that case for about 10 months, and when I left, you know, for those 10 months, they could not arraign any of those of the 10 accused persons that we were representing. Just to arraign them, we didn't allow them. My defense team, which was made out of more than 100 lawyers, of course, we were 35 chosen by the interim government. But every time you had more than 100 lawyers in court. including our famous bâtonnier Etabisong Jr. from Boya. And of course, Barrister Muna and the two Munas attended at least once or twice. Now, they could not even arraign them. But immediately after, of course, Ayuk Tabe did what he did, and I got out. I went out of the defense. Guess what? Less than 2 months after, they arraigned them, tried them, and sentenced them to life. In spite of the evidence from the UNHCR declaring that these were refugees in Nigeria. Can you imagine that? That to show you that La Republique does not respect any law, international law or local laws. They don't know what law means. They don't. It's a gang of thieves put together. I don't know how. They violate their own laws. And in court, we also raise the issue of citizenship. That these people are no longer that they are not Cameroon citizens. They are not Cameroon citizens. They are citizens of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. And their own citizenship law interpreted was in our favor. But guess what? They dismiss it after I left with the left hand. And of course, they tried them. But in Nigeria, when we raised the issue in the Abuja High Court, the judge wrote a very powerful judgment that the Attorney General, even though he filed an appeal later on, but he knew that he cannot win an appeal. You know, Nigeria is a different society as far as law is concerned, but Cameroon is a lawless society. So that is the only thing I wanted to add to what Larry was saying. Yes, I'm ready for your question, Mr. Misodi.
Yes, you just touched that part. You know, I was about to ask you that how can they be putting people in trial who are not French Cameroonian? They are Ambazonian, and they have to follow Ambazonian law. Yes,
that is exactly.
They have common law. They have civil law.
Yes. That is exactly the objection limitations that our team raised. And we did a very good job. The lawyers did a good job submitting very powerfully on the objections that we raised. But you know, you are subjecting to a kangaroo court. Military men sitting there with uniform, some of them have not even read a single line of law. But you guess what happened? They could not arraign them because they had no way of arraigning them. The law would not allow them to arraign them until when I left. The defense team was dislocated, and guess what? They hurriedly arraigned them, tried them overnight, and sentenced them to life.
Wow,
that's what happened. So we are a common law system. We are from the common law system, which they tried to adulterate. They did everything to adulterate. You know, when I was practicing in Luala, I was mostly practicing in the southern zone. I was going from Douala to Tiko Magistrate Court, Victoria Magistrate Court, Moyoka Magistrate Court, Boya Magistrate Court, the High Court in Boya, the Court of Appeal in Boya, and so on and so on. I went right to Mafe, I went right to Mundemba. But let me tell you, it's a very well organized court system, the common law. In the French civil law, which they are still using the old French civil law, the French people have moved, they have modernized their laws, but Cameroon is still using the 18th century law of the French Revolution. And I tell you, they don't have a procedure until they passed a new law that instituted direct examination, redirect, and cross-examination, and they do it in a very funny way, which still doesn't really address the issue of fair trial. So, to tell you the truth, there is no law in Cameroon. I don't know how those people, those our African brothers of La République de Cameroon are going to end up. But the fact of the matter is that we are gone, and we are gone for good. Let them stay with their French occupiers, French colonizers. It doesn't concern us.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Barrister. Let's move to this other side of the negotiation side, where we still have the Swiss negotiation or the Swiss pre-talk going on now, and I want us to talk a little bit about this because many people are asking some questions, and they're asking what kind of issues can be raised if you just said that uh, some people will not be there, like prisoners. But I was trying to say that when it comes to negotiation, all Ambazonians are going to be there. And in terms of working towards that, I want to ask you about this issue of this rape that this military are causing, this issue of using ladies for sex trafficking and all those kind of things. What kind of law can we put when it comes to this negotiation to help our people? Because we have to put all this on the table, Barrister.
Mr. Misore, you have mixed up both the war crimes and genocide and so on, and you are mixing it with the negotiations. Let me start with negotiations. Look, we have a very good case, and La Republique does not have a case. Do you know that we are the only country on the face of the earth that was not decolonized?
Right.
That is, decolonization was not effective in the southern Cameroons.
Correct.
Right from the beginning. Our people, when they came back from Nigeria, and when it was getting time for the trust territories to be given independence, our people met in a conference in Manthe and discussed only two alternatives: either our independence or stay in Nigeria. Joining Cameroon was not part of the issue. What happened? The French and the British connived in the United Nations, ignored the wishes of our people, where the fund of Bafut was prominent in everybody. All party conference it took place in Manthe, and they decided 67% voted that we should have our independence, total independence. When they got to the United Nations in New York, the French and the British played a game. The British put up this thing that we were not economically viable. We were not economically viable, and in violation of Resolution 1514 and the charter of the United Nations. I'm not going to bother you with citing all those charters and all those laws, but it says that irrespective of economic condition of a trust territory, the colonizer should give the trust territory their independence. The British and the French connived. I don't know how they got it through to the United Nations, and the United Nations now presented two alternatives, one of which was not even discussed in the Manthe conference because it was irrelevant, that of joining La Republique du Cameroon. It was never discussed by our people in the conference in Manthe. So what happened? They connived and said, we have to have a plebiscite with two questions. Either we join Nigeria or we join Cameroon. Joining Cameroon was never part of the issue. Joining Nigeria was rejected by our people in Manthe. So how come they said they were going to decolonize us without giving us legitimacy? I mean, our people decided. Their resolution says that our people have to decide on our independence, and they decided in Manthe. The United Nations ignored that, and they forced a plebiscite on us. Well, we didn't have any choice. We went for plebiscite. And then in April 21st, 1961, Resolution 1608 gave us independence and stated conditions on which we were supposed to join La République du Cameroon. We were supposed to sign a treaty based on Resolution 1608, paragraph 5. What happened? Nothing. On the 30th of September, they had a ceremony in Fumbanda. They were holding a conference. Nothing of substance was discussed. Ahijo just went and took the La République Constitution, amended it to a federal constitution, pass it only in La République Parliament. The Southern Cameroon Parliament did not see any paper, anything, any piece of paper called a constitution. Because if they were going to do it right, they would have passed it in both Eastern Cameroon National Assembly and the Southern Cameroon National Assembly. They didn't do that. What did they do? Ahijo passed it in his parliament and then promulgated it by decree and enforced it on us. Well, Poncha turned around and asked Egwetabi, what do we do? Egwetabi said, it's a very good thing because we can opt out at any time. And look, that opting out has taken us 60 years.
Wow.
Thank God La République violated that same constitution that they imposed on us in 1972 in its Article 47. They violated it by calling a referendum without consulting the West Cameroon House of Assembly. Oh man, can you imagine that? Without consulting West Cameroon House of Assembly, they imposed a referendum on us, and they frauded it. In some of the polling stations in Bambili and somewhere in the northern zone, they put ballot papers, yes and we. Yes and we. Those of you young people who have studied French and English, what does it mean? It's the same thing. So they had their way and they violated that law. Our people have been fighting this thing since 1961. They fought it through 72. Poncha could not handle it. He decided to go to Nkwen and stay quiet. And guess what? La République went right through from there, United Republic of Cameroon, then went to 1984. Bia came and passed a law in his own in this assembly and changed the name back to their name as of independence. Their independence was 1960. Yes. So that is what we will be discussing. Wait, now let me finish. That's what we'll be discussing on the negotiating table, and that is what is going. They cannot win. They cannot win. Welcome, Dr. Elad.
Thank you, guys. Do you hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you, sir.
I'm happy to be with you here today. Yeah,
welcome. I've been following everything on the way. I was driving back home. I've been following everything, and I'm very happy to be here with the panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. And you're just coming on time when we're talking about the Swiss negotiation. So I was about to ask Comrade Larry that what is the African Union doing that all these years, though they pass this, the African Union Charter, that says the right of self-determination, that all people have the right of self-determination by virtue, of that right, can freely determine their political status, and pursue their economic and social and cultural development. But what is wrong with African Union? They are very silent. All these years, they have done nothing. Why is it that it is Switzerland that is coming to mediate when we have the almighty African Union? Comrade Larry.
Yeah, there was something I was going to say before I come to this question, but let me answer the question first. Dr. Elad, I'm very privileged to be with you here today. I'm honored. Yeah. To answer your question, Mr. Fries, fellow Amazonians, there is a chapter in the Bible, in the book of Ecclesiastes, that says everything has time and everything has a reason. I want to believe that if in 2017, La République just walked away out of Amazonia we could have gotten to Boya in a mess. Because of time, we are taking out some trash, even among us. It is because of time. As I said, there's a reason for everything and there is a time for everything. This revolution is going to be the fastest one in the history of other revolutions. I can assure you. But before I come to this question right here, I want to tell Ambazonians who are asking questions about the Swiss negotiations or any form of delayance. Ambazonians should get this in mind. There are two candidates going to Swiss. You have Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, and La République du Cameroon, Federal Republic of Cameroon, what they call themselves. These two are going with equal status. They are going to sit on that table with equal status. Some people are asking, are we prepared? Let me tell Ambazonians today that Southern Cameroon is well prepared and La République du Cameroon is not yet prepared. Might be their working time to prepare themselves. When I say Southern Cameroon is prepared, what do I mean? This revolution has been dragging us for long, and all along, we have been doing things that La République did not see them necessary. Until today, we are going to switch with a very heavy fire. Let me start quoting you. Beside the international law being on our side, beside the fact that Southern Cameroon is an independent state whose independence was voted in the UN General Assembly as a quarter year some time ago and named the countries that voted for their independence, for our independence. The fact that Southern Cameroon has well demarcated territorial boundaries. The fact that the Cairo Declaration of 1964 said, as I quote, boundaries attained at independence remain permanent and unchanged. The fact that Resolution 1608 is firmly on our side, we still have some additional things that have made us well prepared. Let me add the Abuja Declaration, Southern Cameroon versus Nigeria on the Bakassi Peninsula. There is a judgment that has not been appealed by the Nigerian government. And the judgment quotes as I read. Nigeria does not share any maritime boundary with La République du Cameroon. That judgment is in our keeping. Number two, the Abuja High Court, the Banjul case, which state, Article 87, Southern Cameroonians are a people. Number three, do you guys know about the Green Tree? The Green Tree Accord? The Green Tree Accord that started in June, I think it was around June 21st or June 22nd. It was a Thursday between Kofi Annan and Paul Biya, United States and Germany being witness states, that ended up in the meetings that were taking place between Nigeria and La République du Cameroon, which Biya finally signed a document with Kofi Annan at Simaleng Airport. All these things are a file that we are going to take to the negotiating table. All these things make us well prepared. All this dancing that we have been dancing with the SCNC, the SCYL, the whatsoever, has given us this opportunity to get these things made up. So today, La République knows that they have been with Southern Cameroon in Banjul, and there is a ruling in our favor. They were given 180 days. After 180 days, they asked for another 180 days. It is more than 10 years today. They did not appeal the case. So refuse by not appealing it means they stand by the judgment. La République knows that. La République knows that Southern Cameroon sued Nigeria in Abuja High Court and a decision was given in our favor. La République knows that. La République knows the Green Tree Accord and what it was all about and what they have finally signed. La République knows that. La République knows that we are well prepared. We might not be well organized, but our file is full. So we are going to a negotiation table with a well-defined file, which La République is a signatory to the charters that guide these courts.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So La République might be delaying. La République might be delaying, trying to make some adjustment and make themselves prepared, which they don't have an argument and they will never have an argument. I don't even see themselves coming to the table until maybe when they will be dragged to the table, because you cannot go into an examination room when you know very well that you cannot answer a single question. Just question number one. La République, is Southern Cameroon an integral part of La République du Cameroon? Can they give a yes? That's just the first question.
Yeah. No, let me go to Dr. Ellard. He's just coming. So I want him to say something here, because we, for the past weeks and months, we have been hearing some people saying something about the Swiss talk. So you as one of those members and one of the lead lawyers in that team, I want you to assure Ambazonians that the Swiss talk is live and alive, and that last 2 weeks we had some people like Barrister Tumasang. He was saying that some people were right, that the Swiss talk was not, since there's no accord from La République, so the Swiss talk is, it's not moving, and so
it does not exist. It does not exist.
Yes, he said because there's no accord from La République side. Dr. Ellard.
Well, thank you, and let me greet all Ambazonians, our heroes, those who are before us, our Ambazonian Restoration Forces on the ground, and all those who are now in the northern zone under the tutelage of La République du Cameroon. Want to encourage them to stay fit and know that those people are just celebrating their failures. La République is celebrating their defeat. That's why they are using all their terror, their forces, and all their bad intent that they have always been doing to keep our people locked down. They want to impose their own ghost town, but that will not work. So, and thank you for inviting me on this panel. It's first time, and I'm really honored to be here with Comrade Dancy and my senior Barrister Fru Johnso, who are waiting here in Germany since, and I hope we'll see him soon when COVID is over. So coming to that question of Barrister Tumasang and the other people, yes, I think you guys had Comrade Bueba that answered that his question, that he is right to say that there is nothing called the Swiss talk, because he himself knows nothing about the Swiss talk, and he is not a true Ambazonian. So why would he not be right to say his own type of logic or what he's bringing in his brain? So that is just a fallacy, which we are not supposed to waste our time to even mention him, because the more we mention him and the more we talk about him, the more credit we give him. So going to the question, my able moderator, all of us know very well. I was on the way driving home, and I was listening to Barrister, so he said it all. So it's just a repetition. The Swiss talk is live and moving. It's just that some people knows nothing about mediation and negotiation. And for them to take their time and listen or read to see what are the principles, how the functionality of mediation and negotiation goes, they don't do that. They just assume that they know, of which they don't know anything. So your question is short and simple. The answer is the Swiss talk is live and going, and the mediation has already started. And it's just as Comrade Dancy said, is to pull that La Republique to the table. So I won't waste time to deliberate on it more.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
for the follow up, I want to ask for you to sensitize Ambazonian about the planned Zoom meeting that you had in China, and you are going across the world. Can you sensitize Ambazonians about this Zoom meeting concerning this Swiss talk?
Yeah. So it was an idea brought up by myself, Barrister Chaps, and we realized that a lot of Ambazonians are really lacking the knowledge of what is really mediation. And even from the questions that we receive when we have this town hall, the town hall is like meet the people tour. It's a good thing to really explain to the Ambazonians to know exactly what mediation is and what negotiation is, because the end result is that we are the ones to accept what our negotiators, the team, will be going there to decide. All the agreement, the resolution, everything that they will sign, the Ambazonia people are the ones to say yes. If those things have been signed there and Ambazonians don't want it, nothing will work. So it's good to make sure that our people know exactly what is going on, why the resolution, why the agreement, and why it is signed. And that is why this Meet the People's Tour, this China, Europe, that's continental tour that ACT is doing is very important. We are never old to learn. We always learn every day. So we are trying to give the knowledge to our people on mediation that often exists alongside facilitation of good offices. So the Swiss, I listened to you when you asked Comrade Dancy, where is the mighty African Union? Why is it that the small Swiss is the one that is mediating? Well, it's a good thing that the small Swiss is the one doing the mediation. You know why? The good thing, Joe, is that Switzerland, being a small country, has no powers, has no influence. So they are doing their job. They are doing the right thing. African Union is too large. So their partiality cannot be really taken, they really be taken serious. They have a lot of things that are at stake. They cannot be really genuine in what they are doing. So the only thing is the Swiss, a small country that cannot threaten any other country, is the one that can do the real mediation because they are doing it honestly. African Union can threaten La Republique and tell La Republique that if you don't accept Ambazonia, we will come with our troops and we'll do this, or they will threaten Ambazonia and all those vice versa. So the mighty African Union. And secondly, there is nothing called African Union. There's European Union in the replica. So if you look at the African Union, they get all their funds from Europe. Europe pay their flight and everything for them to go abroad and do what they are doing. Everything is being sponsored by Europe. So if you are staying in my house and I'm feeding you, housing you, giving you clothes and everything, paying your school fee, am I not going to tell you what to do and you accept? And you know the influence of France in European Union in even world policy in the United Nations Security Council. So it's better for the African Union to stay aside and leave the small Swiss to do the negotiation. because they are just that big name called African Union. And you and me will know that there's no African Union. There's not. What the union are they unioning? You have 14 countries in the French, so-called French Africa, that are paying all their taxes to France, of which La République is one of them. So what union do they union? You have the West African, that they have their own way of operating. You have North Africa, that I just heard recently, Morocco came back to African Union. They were not there. So what is the African Union we are calling the African Union? We should be realistic. We should be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's not play with words. There's nothing called African Union. It's not existing.
Thank you, Doctor. Let's talk about genocide, because for the past few weeks, we have seen a lot of our people being slaughtered. And I want us to talk about the implication of this genocide and massacre being perpetrated by La République military. We have seen all these military death squad, like in Muyuka, how they beheaded the lady there, Chi Comfort. We saw what happened in Mautu, Balangi, Ekelewindi, in different places. I want to ask Barrister about this law. That what law can we put forth when it comes to filing a lawsuit against La République for all these crimes perpetrated by this barbaric military on our people? Barrister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fricks. Let me start by telling you that the Amazonian legal team is filing a criminal complaint against certain authorities of La République du Cameroon at the ICC. ICC means International Criminal Court. There was the Paris Accord that was signed, and there are laws against war crimes, laws against humanity, laws against the genocide, and a lot of people have been tried on that in that court. So our case against La République du Cameroon and its officials, we are filing against their officials. These are criminals, beginning with Paul Biya and Macron, Emmanuel Macron of France, who has declared that everything that happens in Cameroon, he is implicated and is aware. I don't know how he will take that back. He's part of, is an accused person. And what are we doing? We are preparing a lawsuit. We are almost through. We'll be filing even before the end of September. We will have a wide law firm in Washington, D.C. that is going to do the litigation. But we, the Amazonian lawyers, we are four in number. We are working on the petition. We have done a watertight petition with tons and tons and tons of exhibits. Now we are working to tie those exhibits to the course of actions. My colleague Dr. Ellard knows what I'm talking about. And until you do that, and also address the issue of the jurisdictional issues, which that court would require, because Cameroon signed that accord but did not ratify it in its parliament. So Cameroon says the international court cannot listen to any case against officials of Cameroon. But Cameroon forgets that most of their officials are also citizens of other countries who signed that accord. So we are looking at that. And when we are through, we are filing a case in the criminal court. There are two courts in the international arena that you must know. You have the ICC and the ICJ. The ICJ is international court for member states. A member state can sue. Those are civil. That's a civil court, can sue another member state for violation of their rights or in international law or whatever. But that is not our issue now. Our issue now first is the ICC, which is the criminal court, and we're bringing Paul Biya, Macron, all those generals, all the governors of the northern zone and southern zone, the two governors of northern and southern zone, and a host of others, Atanganji, and it figures very prominently on that. So that is what the Amazonian lawyers, along with the law firm that has been hired, are working, and they are working under the leadership of both our president, Dr. Sako, Dr. Elat as a foreign secretary, and our comrade Bo Herbert. He has been very instrumental. He is he's working very hard to put to make sure that we do a watertight petition. So that is why it is delaying. But let me tell you, we will not spare anybody who participated in the genocide that you just mentioned, and many more. You remember Ngabu, you remember Pinyin, you remember Ngokutu, Baban Kitungo, you remember Isu in Wum, you remember Kwakwa, you remember this village in Manfe. I keep forgetting. Kembong in Manfe. You remember all Matu, and all the other genocides that have taken place in our territory. We're documenting all that. Bali, they actually use chemical weapons to burn the corpses after they killed our people. You know, so we are fighting La Republic on several fronts. Our law firm will be doing that. And of course, we are waiting for La Republic in Geneva. They have no choice. Dr. Elad knows that they have no choice. These enablers running around and saying, oh, Swiss stocks don't exist. A man like Tumasan, a lawyer in his capacity, how can he say things like that without any shred of evidence? He has not even bothered to find out what mediation means. Mediation, as like Dr. Elad has just explained to us, mediation, you from the beginning, you don't bring the parties together. The other party does not know that you are talking to the other party until you talk to both parties separately before they can come together on the negotiating table. I don't know why these enablers cannot think. It's the only listen. Dr. Elad has given it all. Switzerland is the best thing that ever happened to us, because if we went to the African Union, that is a club of dictators. That's a club of dictators in Africa. They have no voice. They rely on European Union for money. They rely on America for money. They rely on everybody for money. They don't represent anything. Dr. Ella is right. African Union does not exist, at least for now. So we are filing a criminal case against all those people who have been involved in genocide in the southern Cameroon.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Barrister. Larry, Comrade Larry, I want you to talk a little bit about this, because so many of our people have been killed, some have been maimed, raped, robbed, all types of, lives, property, and their homes damaged. More than 400 towns and villages burned. So when can we call this type of activities as genocide? When the UN is not coming, UN is silent. So for when do we have to say the UN has to come in and say something about this? Comrade Larry. Comrade Larry is not. Okay.
Are you hearing
Dr.
me?
Elad. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, okay. Yes,
Yeah.
I was.
On this particular note right here, I want to plead with all our LGA chairs, our country chairs. let's go out for sensitization. We know the conspiracy that is out there. We need to sensitize our people. Let our people know that we are in a full-fledged war. Precautions on their safety and security is the first thing they have to put up every morning when they get out from bed. Right now, the maiming is going on, the slaughtering is going on, the raping is going on, the looting is going on, as we saw in Mitenyin Credit Union, and all the things that, as also to what happened to our sister in Moyoka. It's really a pity that the world has taken the side of watching. But I will always say, we are in the Western world. When I compare the situation of the United States, imagine a leadership that is used to see people being killed, like the United States. So when they say 10 people were killed in Bali, as Barrister Johnson just mentioned, 20 in Gabon, they look at how somebody loaded a gun and went to a church and almost the 20 people were killed. And they discussed it and it just ended here in the United States. So we are experiencing a situation that the white man is experiencing almost every day in their lives. We are crying the pain. We feel the pain. They don't feel the pain as we do. The only thing I will say here is that why we are pushing the world to listen to us and to come to our aid, we should focus on sensitizing and educating our people to take security precautions as their first priority because they are in the war zone. These things were happening from the beginning of the crisis because our people did not really know that it was something that was going to get to this level. People were just taking it like a strike, as other strikes that we have experienced. But today, our people know that we are in a full war. All the materials that are being used in war at war fronts are the same materials that the Republic is using in Amazonia. So I will call on all our LGHS to take the action of sensitizing our people as a class that we have to get up in the morning, talk in our local dialect. Let's sensitize our people about their security. Let's make our people take their security first. Like I spoke with somebody in Bamenda this morning, a boy of about 25 years. When I called him and asked, where are you? He said, I'm at Commercial Avenue. I said, for what has transpired in Bamenda for the past 3 days, you were not supposed to be at the Commercial Avenue today. Because you don't know if the thing has died down or not. So you see that our people are still taking certain things for granted. They are not taking it serious. Some are not taking it serious. We need to sensitize our civilian population because we know that our restoration forces are taking their security first. Our civilians need to follow them second. And make sure before you come out of your house, you make sure you double check if there is security out there before you can go out. And if an action takes place here, the next thing is you should understand that if our restoration forces passes through this area, you should know that the Republic is coming behind. My younger brother was killed. My younger brother was killed because he did not take this into consideration. Beside my family compound, there is a well bridge. That is where the Republic military was settling there and making money. So the restoration forces of Mogamo used to come there, fight and kill them. So one day my junior brother was in the farm while they was fighting in the day. He came back from the farm when our mothers have left the compound. He did not know that there was fighting at the Way Bridge. So he came and was moving around the roadside when they were hiding in the bushes. They shot him. So when there is an action, we are saying this to as civilians. When there is an action, you don't have to be around that area. You have to leave because La Republique is coming with reinforcement. Right now, as you said, the genocide is going on. La Republique is conspiring with international body, a representative of international body like France, which is a permanent member of UN Security Council. As Dr. Ella just said, we are doing everything to see that the world should come to our aid. But while we are doing it, let them take security first.
May I add something, Mr. Fricks? May I add something? You must know that rape, beheading, is a war crime, it's crimes against humanity. Listen, La Republique started beheading people in the 1960s. They beheaded Bamilikes during the war of independence. We all know that. We used to pass and see heads of people when we were young people going on holidays. We used to pass and see young people's heads in Bafang and all the other places. Listen, rape is a common thing in war and is classified under war crime. Beheading, which La Republique is very used to doing because we have evidence that all the beheadings in the southern Cameroons were conducted by them. It's crime against humanity. Then, of course, genocide is killing a group of people because they are different from you. So all those things are taken into consideration in the case we're going to file. In fact, you can consider it done already.
Okay. So I want to ask Dr. Elad about the types of sanctions that La Republique can have following this their pattern of delay to the negotiation, trying to bring up issues. So I want to ask Dr. Elad, what type of sanctions do you think that the UN can impose? Like military sanction or sanction against some individual, like Barrister mentioned, economic sanctions. So yes,
Well,
Dr. Elad.
Mr. Moderator, you already mentioned all the sanctions, and the unfortunate thing. I'm sorry. Let me apologize to Ambazonians. I don't know if La Republique is there behind trying to hack me. You can see that I'm going on and off all the time, but no problem. They are used to that. We will still keep up. They can do whatever they want. We will beat them hands down. That is why this Meet the People's Tour is going round to explain on this mediation something. Because as I said in the beginning, that people ask some questions like, can the Swiss not sanction La République? And that the answer I always give, there's one time I realized that we answer question with question. I ask, can they sanction Ambazonians if we say we are not coming to the table? No, that is not the duty of a mediator. The duty of a mediator is to balance the equation, the equality. And that is why some people are so naive to say that the mediators are doing this. Even some of us are saying, why is the mediator coming to ask us to do this? Why are they giving us capacity building? No. You cannot go to the table and mediate with somebody who is higher than you, who is better than you, who is more, stronger than you. So the duty, one of the main function of a mediator is to balance that equation, to make sure that both parties sit on that table as equal, with equal strength. So you mediate with equal strength. And the reason, when you call UN, what can the UN do? My brother, I really have a doubt with that UN. Who are the people who are in the UN? The United Nations General Assembly always holds. And those are all the countries in the world. They come and blah, 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 their blah there and leave. Then you have that call called the United Nations Security Council, where you have Russia, you have China, you have France, you have who are those other two? There are five of them there. You have I think the United Kingdom, you see UK in there,
The United
and
States.
the United States. So you can see exactly that those people, the United Kingdom, that is the sole cause of our what we are undergoing now, is there. What are they going to say? You think they're going to blame themselves for the disaster and the chaos they have caused? No. You have China ripping off all what they can rip from us. You think they're going to say something? No. And the worst thing with this United Nations Security Council is that if four people agreed on a certain punishment and one person declined, that thing doesn't, the resolution doesn't hold. That is it. There is nothing like majority count or carries the vote. No. All of them, five, must accept. If not, then it doesn't work. So France will not accept. UK will not accept. China will not accept. America and Russia. Israel is training the security there. We saw how Israel is giving them satellite position of everything that's happening in Amazonia. So America based with the Israel, they are there together and they cannot go against their strongest ally in the Arab world. So there's this jigsaw in that United Nations sanctioning. That's why Guterres will come out and say we should go to a ceasefire. COVID is coming. They bring all their gymnastic for us to go into a type of coalition of surrender instead of them really sanctioning. But notwithstanding, Comrade Dancy has said it here when I just entered and said, we have although today politics surpass the legal parameters of everything, because if it comes to law, we have already won La Republique. If we go towards the area of law, we have everything on our side. But when it comes to politics, they have the advantage. But as we always say, this is a God-ordained revolution. You can imagine an unconventional force resisting a conventional force that is being supplied arms all over the world by Israel, by America, by France, we are still resisting them till today with our machetes, as they call us, or chakfo, as they call it. We still resist 4 good years. So that is a sign of victory. There will be this sanction bit by bit, because let me assure Ambazonians who are listening today that the pressure that is on La Republique is so high, and in a negotiation, this is what always happens. And this is why people need to listen carefully and understand. When parties are going to negotiate, the so-called, because I don't want to call La Republique a stronger party, the so-called party that is stronger always exert on the type of force. The fighting becomes increased, the killing a zombie rate, the suffering acts. They are doing all that so that our people should turn against us as you can see, some of them sitting in their various, how do they call, mobile win. I don't want to use their word they call GMI. We use those words. Those are not, they are mobile win sitting there that people have run from the market and went to the mobile win police for help. You see people complaining. You see the enablers behind jumping up, making noise. Noise is all over the place. Then the La Republique now, and you know the United Nations General Assembly is coming up. They will get something on their paper to go to, or now they do it on Zoom as we are doing now, to read. You can see the people themselves, the Anglophones themselves, as they call us. I'm just using their word. We are not Anglophones. We are Ambazonian or the Southern Cameroon, are against the few who are in the diaspora promoting this war. So they are doing all that, and then we will have that pressure on us. So our team that is going now for the negotiation will be pressurized if our people are now hitting our heads to reach there and sign all type of agreement, which is not again for our sovereignty, not for our independence. These are two things: sovereignty and independence. Please, people should check those words. These are two things. We are fighting for our sovereignty to control everything of ours. Independence has a lot of connotation. There are different sectors of independent on what. So we should be careful when we use this word. So they will come now on the table and say, okay, they can even say, okay, we're giving you people your independence, that you will be independent in this. They will give you some type of areas in the government that you have no value, nothing. The defense will not be on your side. The economy will not be on your side. Finance, and they can give you some freedom of travel. You can travel how you want. You can even some type of document. They say you can use a passport called Southern Cameroons. Those type of things. But we are fighting for our sovereignty. And when our people will reach on the table with the pressure exerted on them by our Ambazonians constituency, they sign a document quick in order to stop the war. But that will not happen. So please, what La Republique is doing now, those are tactics. They call it in the negotiation bully. Those are the bullies. They are doing that to bully us into forcing us in signing some type of concession with them, which is not what we are fighting for the last 4, or I will not say 4 years, for past 56 years or more. So please, Ambazonians, get this right.
Okay.
Well, if you don't understand the principles and processes of negotiation, contact some of us. We will take all our time to explain that to you, for us to be on one foot. So that is what I can say now. For the sanction,
All right.
let's hope that some countries will make those sanctions. But when you come to the UN as a body, I doubt if they can do anything. We should really forget about those. UN have their interest in Ambazonia through La République du Cameroon, and they will not, I repeat, they will not go and give us some advantages, because they are already afraid of us. We are too intelligent for the UN. I'm sorry to say that.
All right. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you very much, Doctor. We are running up. I will just want to ask the last question to Barrister. That
Yes.
now that we already know that the officials of La République have admitted that they committed war crimes, they committed rape, they committed massacre and impunity, all kinds of crimes. Why don't, like we heard about General Eba, who said that that his team was part of this this Moyoka issue. So why don't they be arrested?
Before I answer that, let me complement what Dr. Elad has been saying. First, the team of negotiators. Dr. Elad is very important in this negotiating process. Yes, the team of the negotiators from Ambazonia have one important mission. There is no negotiation as it concerns our sovereignty and independence. That is a non-negotiable item. We are going to Geneva to talk about terms of separation. And anything short of that, we walk out. That's my thinking. We walk out of there. We are raising money now, Dr. Elad, you know the draft. We are raising money now and we can fight this war as long as it takes. Every year we'll be drafting. Okay. We'll fight this war as long as it goes. For those countries in the United Nations Security Council who are permanent members, let me say this. Russia has seen the handwriting on the wall and is beginning to say that Southern Cameroon should be decolonized because the decolonization process did not finish. That's coming from the foreign minister of Russia. Secondly, at that Security Council, and the only thing we're afraid of is a vote. A vote. How do they call that vote again? Where one of the permanent members votes against the resolution. Veto. But if you abstain, veto powers. If you abstain from voting, you have not cast a veto vote. The resolution can still pass. But that notwithstanding, anybody on our side, going to Geneva, should have in his head that there is a non-negotiable item. And that is, like Dr. Elad said, we have to be very careful. We have to use sovereignty and independence. You cannot use one and leave the other. We have our independence in 1961 under Resolution 1608, but we have just restored it. So we have to have the sovereignty and ask La Republic to leave our territory. So that is what we are going, a non-negotiable item. Number two, we are going to talk about terms of separation. After 60 years with these idiots, we need to know that they have destroyed our economic infrastructure. They have destroyed a lot of things. They have killed our people. They have burned our villages. They have destroyed our villages. They must be made to pay. Those are the two big items on that negotiating table. Anything short of our sovereignty and independence, we are walking out and will continue the war. Another thing that is making La Republique and France to be talking rubbish is because they are still drilling oil in our territory. If we can raise enough money to be able to bring down those rigs that they are drilling in our territory, they will stop. They will stop and think. Now, to answer your question, we are not taking La Republique to the ICC. We are taking the Republic officials, beginning with Paul Biya, Macron, and then all the military officers, the governors, in their personal names, and their ministers like Atanganji, Betty Asumo, and all the rest of it. Yes, we're taking in their personal name because it's a criminal code. Criminal responsibility is individual. Dr. Elad knows that. We are all colleagues. We know that. So we're not taking La Republique to the ICC. We're taking the individuals who committed all those heinous crimes. Genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes. So that is the only sanction we'll get. They will be imprisoned if they lose the case. They will stay in prison in Europe. I don't see any sanctions going against the country.
Barrister, there's no if they will lose. There's no if.
Yes,
because
they will lose.
They did
it. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
We are working. We are working day and night. We're working
Thank you,
day and
panelists.
night to make sure that, yes.
Yeah, because of time, we're going to continue this discussion next week. So I'm very grateful. So before I let you go, I just want you guys to just say, your last word, 2 words, two sentences to Amazonian people to give them hope, because everybody is very concerned about the legal side in this our struggle. They want to know their rights. They want to know what to do in case they are faced with the legal battles against La Republique. Comrade Larry, let me start with you.
Yeah,
Round up.
there is one thing I want to tell Ambazonians. As I said in 2017 in one of my audios, if you want to fight your enemy, you must know the strength of your enemy and you must know the weakness. When you know the strength of your enemy, you know when to escape, and when you know your enemy's weakness, you know when and how to attack. La Republique's strategy right now is to place our civilians against us, is to make our civilians go against our restoration forces. That is what La Republique is trying to do on the ground. They are using enablers, people like the man in the UK called My Country People, who is pasting people's picture on social media, writing a lot of trash. They are using their privileged slaves in Yaoundé in the name of ministers, parliamentarians, and directors. We are calling on every Ambazonian to select what you listen to and to select what you take home. La Republique's strategy now is to distract and see into it that our civilian population go against our restoration forces. Most of the atrocities that are being caused on the ground are being caused by La Republique du Cameroon, because they want our population to go against our restoration forces. We saw it in Mitangien Credit Union. When some women go to the American embassy to march and to protest that the American government should come against us, I didn't see those women protest when they saw the police that were robbing people in Mitangien Credit Union. When the evidence came clear that the lady that was beheaded in Muyuka was done by the forces of La Republique, we have not seen them come out. Fellow citizens of Ambazonia, those who are shouting out there calling for peace are being sponsored by La Republique du Cameroon. They are working for their self-interest. I don't care who you are. If you are dining and whining with La Republique du Cameroon, you are the enemy of Ambazonian. As Secretary Chris said yesterday, we are not going to dance with anybody in the uniform of La Republique, whether you are a civilian or you are a military. The time is over when we are going to be talking words of like we are trying to plead. Where we are today, we are not turning back. If we turn back, fellow Ambazonians, wait, we will go chop. It go worse. Shit.
Is that the last word? Is that the last word? I mean,
if at this time in time, if at this point in time, when we don't
but he's
find La
talking
Republique,
over and over and over and repeating.
If at this time that we have fought to this level, La Republique is still trying to install an agent of La Republique as a fund in Ambazonia, then they are not yet taking us serious. Fellow Ambazonians, we have to increase the firepower. That is what is going to drag La Republique to Swiss. Please let me take this opportunity, as I pleaded with you, to announce the launching of a book written by Bafut from Kunenge Central Prison. Bafut don't be a very strong instrument inside this revolution. Maybe some of us don't know him. Bafut,
Can I make a last word before? Can I make the last word before he does his launching of the book?
Maybe I go before they seize my phone again. The big people.
So,
the barrister, you will be the last to talk. We go generables, priables. So you be the senior.
Okay, Larry,
Okay,
just
sir.
round up.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, sir.
tomorrow there's launching of Pa Fongalafo's book. So, thank you for that information. Dr. Elad.
Yes. So I don't have much to say. I just want Comrade Ndasi have said everything. Ambazonians, select your information. Listen to the true Ambazonians. Don't listen to those fake Ambazonians. We are doing the right thing. We are on the right course. We are doing everything with the legal parameters. We live in countries that if we were doing wrong things, if we were terrorists, as they call us, would have been all in jail today, arrested or even deported. Insofar we are living in the so-called democratic human rights nations, and we are fighting for our self-determination, and nobody is knocking at our doors to do us anything. Ambazonians, when you are called for drafting, please draft, because we need that money, as Comrade Dancy said, increase the firepower. Ambazonians, believe in your leadership. Ambazonians, those names called in-house fighting and all what people say, that is a revolution. There is no unity. There is no revolution on earth that all the fractions have come together to do one thing. It doesn't happen anywhere. Who wants to challenge me? Call me and tell me this happened, and they united and fought the other. So please stay resilient, and our restoration forces, the Ambazonian restoration forces on the ground, don't give up. We are out here. We support you people. We'll stand with you people, and we're doing our best to make sure we take back fully our territory. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Elad. Barrister, you have the last word.
Yes, I am very grateful that I have the opportunity to address Ambazonians. Ambazonians, I'm calling upon you, especially the restoration forces, to stay the course, because we are drafting money to get you the materials you need, to get everything for you. You will have enough to unleash firepower on the enemy. Number two, I want all of you Ambazonians to believe in the interim government and act the Ambazonian team, that the Swiss stocks are alive, and we are going to put La Republique on its back. Number two, I want you Ambazonians to believe in your legal team, to believe in what the lawyers, the white law firm that has been hired, and a few of us, the Ambazonian lawyers that are giving them a backup, that they will drag La Republique officials to the ICC, and most of them will be sentenced, and they will serve in Europe. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our restoration forces for what they are doing for us, and that they should count on all of us in the diaspora to raise the money and get the equipment that they need. Dr. Elad has said, all of us are going to draft and draft and draft. That is our own participation in the war. We cannot fight with you, but we are drafting to give you the equipment you need. Thank you very much, Mr. Fricks, for inviting me.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Next week, we're going to continue. And ladies and gentlemen, televiewers, thank you for watching, and see you all next week, Saturday. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.